Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to the Lioness Den. This is Charity Smith, Miss Mogul, the host of Master Your Morning with Miss Mogul. I am absolutely delighted to be in the studio today. I have an expert, a lioness, a lady who is so familiar with today's subject topic. You really just don't want to miss this show. Today, I have in the studio via Zoom, Shannon Mantaro. Shannon is the director of Texas Women University's Center for Women and Business. She is all about assisting women in growing their businesses, their leadership fingerprint, capacity, wherewithal. She really is a resource that we're excited to talk to about leadership today. And we're also going to talk to Shannon about her upcoming event with the Disney Institute. It's going to be a huge event here in the city of Houston. But without further ado, because this 30 minutes is going to go really fast, Shannon Mantaro, welcome.
Well, thank you. It's great to be here with you, Charity.
I'm excited. Hi there in Denton, Texas, and everybody at Texas Women's University.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, I want to jump right into today's subject, right? Because it's so important. Today, we're going to talk about a lot of things. We're going to talk about the achievement gap. We're going to talk about earnings potential for women. We're going to talk about legislation that impacts all of that. And we really want to hear your thoughts. You're an entrepreneur, a seasoned business owner, and you're now a business leader here at the university level, right? Tell us about the work that you do with the Center for Women in Business.
Well, in 2015, the Texas Women's University received some legislative funding to initiate a Center for Women in Business. And so what we focus on primarily is offering women business owners across Texas, but primarily in North Texas, the tools they need to succeed in business. We offer business advisement. We offer business planning tools and techniques. Networking, mentoring, trainings, you name it.
It really is a comprehensive hub and support system for women, ensuring that step by step, benchmark by benchmark, women meet their goals in business leadership. Am I right?
That's right. That's exactly right.
Awesome. Now, you've been with the center for a while now. Tell me some of the challenges that you see consistently reoccurring with women in business and leadership.
I would say that with every woman that comes into our center, we see about five either startup businesses or expanding businesses per week now in our office. Two of the most consistent challenges for them is access to the resources they need to start or expand their business. They're not sure where to find those, what to do with them. And the other big thing is access to capital.
It always comes down to the money, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does.
So how does the center partner with women to assist them in overcoming these challenges and hurdles?
Well, one of the things that we do is we let them know, the very first thing I ask when a woman comes in is, do you have a business plan? Because you really need that in order to be able to have a path or a roadmap.
There you go.
Business. You really have to have that from the very beginning. So we offer a tool, an online tool for women for free. All of our services are free.
Okay.
And we offer this online tool. And I walk them from step one to opening it to the very last step of making it a reality, their business plan. And they really need that in order to be able to go and seek financing.
And the one thing I really love about the center's mantra when it comes to business is that you all really are coaches, right? You really do kind of play out this strategy. You help devise this strategy for success, but you don't just put that strategy in the hands of the business leader or the future entrepreneur. You walk them through step by step with these tools, showing them how to utilize them, showing them how to maximize their potential, because you really do want the business to be successful. That's the whole point of this, right? Is that we have women who are viable in business.
Yeah, women have the potential to contribute greatly to our economy, and so in Texas and beyond, and so it's that's our job, is to get them there.
Well, we're going to talk a little bit more about that.
Sorry, I was going to say that we work with a number of partners in the region as well.
Who are some of those partners?
Some of them are, we work with the SBA, the Small Business Administration, through their Small Business Development Centers. We work with a group right here in Denton called Women in Commerce. It's a networking group. And it's really important for women to have that networking group that supports them, that helps them along the way. Women helping women.
Absolutely. And I love that these are proven business leaders. This isn't just some campfire kumbaya moment. Pardon me. These are women who have track records of success that are viable. There's sustained business, and they're partnering with upcoming businesses, upstarts, we like to call them, to make sure that they're successful along the way.
That's right, because it benefits us all.
There you go.
Are successful.
So want to talk to you now. Let's expand the dialogue a little bit. We wanted to talk to you about the earnings potential of women. I know that you primarily deal with entrepreneurs, but just in a panoramic view, we did some research on statistics, and so many of the listeners hear me talk about the income gap or the earnings gap that women experience all the time. Did some research, and according to the Institute for Women's Policy and Research, women earn 80.5 cents for every dollar that men earn. So we did some calculations, and that's about a 20% earnings gap. And these are women with advanced degrees, and that was the part that was shocking for me. These are women with advanced degrees who are earning the 20%, still have a 20% earnings gap. In your opinion, what is the short and the long-term effect on our economy if women are constantly operating with that 20% earnings gap?
Well, I think it's pretty stark. It's pretty basic. If there were wage parity, gender wage parity, I read a statistics the other day that explains it all. If there were parity, our economy would increase by over $500 billion.
So wait, stop. That's a huge number. So are you telling me that if women earned dollar for dollar what men are earning, it would increase the potential in our economy by, give me those numbers again?
$512 billion.
So what would that do to the national debt?
Well, you can tell an enormous amount of money, The other thing is, it doesn't just come down to money, although that number is very staggering. Women would be able to, realize their potential. The country would be able to realize women's potential in contributing to, for example, the area of STEM, science, math, technology.
And those areas are still very underrepresented. Women are still very underrepresented in those areas, right?
Right, they are. And even if they are in those, if they have the same position as a man in that area, they're still not making the money. So it's not an incentive for women to actually get into those industries. It's becoming that way, and that's the way it should be. But yeah, I mean, it's twofold. It's the money, and it's the potential of women's contribution to, for example, to STEM or to other industries.
And speaking of STEM, this is kind of outside the line of questioning, but you bring up a wonderful point. I did some further research on STEM areas because my daughter is extremely involved in engineering, and hi to her, by the way. But we're looking at the jobs that will be created within the next 10 to 15 to 20 years down the road. According to the Department of Labor and the Department of Commerce, they're going to be in the areas of STEM. So what are we doing by not having that earnings potential closed, that earnings gap closed, and encouraging women to become involved in these areas? You just gave us some staggering quotes about what the impact on the national economy would be in a positive way if women earned dollar for dollar what their male counterparts earn. So I would venture to say, and I want your opinion on this, I think the national economy is missing out on a huge opportunity to move us forward as a technological leader, as the economic leader. We've lost some ground here with China. Let's just be honest and tell the truth. There's some countries who have started to exceed or mark with us when it comes to technological advancement, and certainly when it comes to economy. China is a huge part of that and competitor. Give me your thoughts on that. what, in your opinion, what would be the outcome, I should say, of women being encouraged to pursue careers in these areas? And in your opinion, what would that impact be on the economy?
Well, I mean, I agree with you. I think we're losing out on a huge impact. And we're now playing on a global scale like we
Absolutely.
never have before. So it behooves the United States to close that gap.
And I'm going to put a plug out there. She said it behooves the United States to close that gap. Nobody can do that better than we can. One voice makes some impact, but when you have voices who are experienced, who see the numbers, who do the research every day, now starting to join those other voices, the impact and the roar, as I like to call it, now kind of resounds into areas where we can no longer ignore what's being said when it comes down to the importance of closing that economic gap. Would you agree?
Oh, I definitely agree. I completely agree. And I think one of the ways that, our office works to help close that gap is by promoting entrepreneurialism. When you're an entrepreneur, you set your salary
There you go.
aside. So I think that there's a very large opportunity for women there. And as a matter of fact, women are one of the fastest growing sectors in entrepreneurialism in the country. So here's another statistic that for every women represent 1 in 5 businesses as business owners of companies that are making $1 million or more in revenue.
Come on.
Yeah. Although it's not a huge number, it's a lot different from when women couldn't even get financing from a bank without a cosigner in the 70s.
Right. Come And so we have made some traction. We've come a long way for women to make that $1 million mark, but we still have a long way to go. This is not the time for us to be comfortable on our laurels and just sit back, but actually push that agenda forward and encourage entrepreneurialism. And I love that you offer that as an opportunity to close that earnings gap. And, I'm a bit of a radical. I don't know if you know that about me or not, but I'm a bit of a radical, and I've never been able to stay within the status quo. And my thinking has always been, Shannon, is that if the system is not working for me, I create a system that will. I create a system that will. And I think it's time for us to take on that mentality now. What do you think?
I like that. I like that a lot.
Create it.
If I could segue into the Disney Institute.
Yeah.
This is one of the things that we do in the Center for Women in Business to be able to provide women business owners with this edge, this leg up. The Disney Institute, as you probably know, and I'm sure that your listeners know, is one of the most well-known brands in the community.
Who doesn't?
In the States, probably the world.
Yeah, who doesn't?
Yeah, I know. And obviously they know what they're doing in terms of customer service and leadership.
There you go.
So we're going to have 2 facilitators right from the Disney Institute coming to Houston, the Woodlands Marriott. And we're going to talk about how to build your leadership skills.
Now, you brought up a great way to segue into the next question. So with a global partner like Disney, an industry leader globally, what does this do to now legitimize the discussion of women's potential in leadership? If Disney is coming aboard to have this discussion, what does that say about the importance of the topic?
It's one of the Disney Institute's major topics, if not probably one of the ones they do most often. They do this around the country. So I think it's, something that women business owners have told us that they want. And it's a reoccurring theme. And so hopefully women will walk away, with some skills and tips and philosophy and new ideas on how to strengthen their leadership abilities.
And one of the things that I really love about Disney, I'm about to tap into my childhood versus my adulthood. Disney has always been about imagination and visualization and vision and thinking about what could be. Now, when you take that kind of paradigm and you now engage women's business and leadership, it helps us now to take on a different paradigm, if you will, about the possibility of success in business. business? What are you thinking? What do you see? When you imagine your definition of success, how big can that be? Once you get engaged and get started. And I love that Disney is partnering with you with this discussion. I think it's so very important because it further legitimizes that this is a discussion we really need to have.
Yeah, I completely agree. And this is actually our third Disney Institute that we're doing.
Wow.
We've gotten so much feedback. The first two that we did were in Denton, and of course we have a campus. TWU has a campus in Houston, so we wanted to make sure that we gave people in Houston an opportunity to benefit.
I'm glad you did that because this was the first time I've heard about it. And the Woodlands will be right there. That's my backyard, right? And so I want to take this opportunity to encourage you. We're going to put the information up, and Shannon's going to tell us more about the event at the end of the show. But please prepare to be there. The Disney Institute will be in Houston with TWU in the Woodlands. And I believe the date is going to be June 7th. We're going to talk about it a little bit more, but it's June 7th. Right, Shannon?
Yeah, that's correct.
Go ahead now and start putting that on your calendar, ladies and gentlemen. Put that on your calendar now. So I want to go into the next question, Shannon. We can't turn the channel without hearing about the Me Too movement, about hearing about sexual harassment in the workplace, about the gender and economic gap. I want your opinion on something. I believe that the Me Too movement, while it did open up, if you will, the back workings of sexual harassment in the workplace, it's now, in my opinion, laying the foundation for us to have more discussions about gender and economic inequalities when it comes to women. And I think that this is giving us a voice now to start talking about that 80 cents on the dollar versus the whole dollar. What are some of the discussions that you're hearing about that, and what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that it was a real turning point.
Yeah.
For women, and women seem less afraid now to stand up for themselves and to say, this is what I want and this is what I'm going to get.
And it's giving a voice to it, right?
Yeah. And I think, I think it can be a catalyst actually for uniting women in this concept of women supporting women. Because I think it's really important, in our office, we see women come in and, they're independent and they're excited about starting their business, but they're nervous about it, and women have different concerns than men do as business owners.
Sure.
Oftentimes they're the head of their family. They're taking care of their family.
Sure.
I can
attest to that.
Yeah, I know. There's all kinds of other issues that come into play that are different. And if they can have this sort of tribe of women supporters behind them, it makes all the difference. And we've seen that firsthand in our office.
I love that. And you said something that really stands out. I think a lot of times women, we have this inner working in the back of our head. I have this 80 cents on the dollar. I have to make sure that this is a viable exercise and undertaking. And so while more women are getting into the arena of entrepreneurship, I think we are really cautious about how we enter. But one of the things I love about the Center for Women in Business is that you help minimize the risk with information.
Right. And support.
Yeah, that's important, right?
Yeah. Literally every single person that comes into my office is looking for a mentor. So right now, our next project in the office is going to be establishing a formal mentoring network.
Count me in.
Come in. Okay.
I would love, that's a part of my business mantra, count me in. I would love to mentor. And I'm going to put this plug out there. If you want to connect and really expand the reach of Texas Women University's Center for Business mentorship program, connect with the show. We'll connect you with Shannon. Let's get this whole community of women supporting other women. And something you said, you're on a university campus. So I'm intrigued to know how many young women are coming in now talking about entrepreneurship, and how has the Me Too movement ignited them maybe to say, hey, this is something I don't have to deal with. I don't want to take that road. I don't have to deal with that. I'm going to start my own business, bypass that experience altogether, and just create my own way of doing this. Have you seen any of that?
Yeah. Oh, we certainly have. And it's not, it's not just with young women, but it's with our whole, we have a very diverse group of women that we're assisting on a daily basis. For younger women, we actually have a scholarship program for women at TWU, students who are interested in entrepreneurship. We have a 2-year scholarship. We give them $1,000 per year.
Awesome.
They have to maintain a certain GPA, but we also give them the tools they need, probably on a more intense, level.
Yeah.
We have them do a business plan so that by the time they graduate, they're ready.
So
Yeah, and then we oftentimes are able to put them together with women that come into our office as a mentorship that way.
Awesome. Now, let's expand the dialogue a little bit. Many times we hate to talk about race when it comes to anything. It's just still such a very taboo subject. But we also know that the Me Too movement was started by a woman of color, and it has taken on now a global dialogue with women across racial, economical, socioeconomical life stages. I want to talk to you a little bit about what you've seen with women of color with entrepreneurship. I have a couple of statistics here from the April fact sheet of the nationalpartnership.org. Among women who hold full-time jobs year-round in the United States, African-American women are typically paid 63 cents on the dollar. Latinas are paid just 54 cents on every dollar for white males or non-white men. And then we talk about Asian women who are paid only 79 cents on the dollar. What have you seen when it comes to these statistics? First question is, how true to form are these statistics? They sound a bit dire to me, but I think they may be true to form, just my opinion. Secondly, what is the center doing to partner with women of color specifically to help grow their personal economies and their business fingerprint?
Well, I'm not an economist, so I'm not sure exactly, about the impact of the wage gap for people of color, for women of color. But what I can tell you is that the majority, I would say probably 90 to 95% of the women that come into my center are women of color.
Come on here.
Oh, I'm proud to say. I mean, it's true. It's true. So, they're independent. They know what they want. But the thing that I do find is that it seems to be difficult to access financing, difficult to find the resources that they need in order to propel their business forward. So again, on the financial part, one of the things that my office has done, and we just finished our very first round, is we created a micro enterprise and training grant for women.
Love that.
Yeah, so women could apply for the grant. It was $5,000, so it's not a huge amount, but it really provides
good seed money.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And so we were able to grant 10 women, 5 startups, and 5 expanding businesses.
Awesome.
Yep, all over Texas, 2 in Houston, and then the rest were all in the North Central Texas region. So being able to provide that funding was our way of assisting the access to funding that, women, and specifically women of color, are looking for.
And it's so true. I mean, let's just talk about it for a quick second. Money is usually the issue. It's not a lack of drive. It's not a lack of ambition. It's not a lack of commitment. Many times it's been the access to capital. And I can speak to that as a divorced mother of 2 who did not want to buy into a 9-to-5, but really wanted to create my own system of doing things. Going through a nasty divorce, there's a financial impact on that. And so you have to dig your way out of all of that while you're trying to build a business. Can be really challenging for the most creative of us. It can be a real challenge. But to know that there is a partner out there like TWU's Center for Women in Business who offers this grant is absolutely priceless. So I'm going to encourage all of of you who are listening. And if money has been the thing that's holding you back, or if the partnership has been the obstacle, I'm going to encourage you, connect with the show. We would love to connect you with Shannon at TWU and get those excuses removed. How about that? Yeah, let's just remove those obstacles and get you into the economy and creating your own economy, right?
Right. I totally agree, and thank you.
You got me fired up. Come on.
And one of the other things that we do is we're able to take advantage of our regional network. So we are able to refer women to, for example, the SBA, our Small Business Development Centers in our areas, who then can help women access financing at a lower interest rate, or some alternative financing as well.
Wonderful. Shannon, I told you this 30 minutes is going to go really fast, and we're at 5 minutes within the show, but I want to ask you one final question before we go. In your opinion, what is the profile of the 21st century leader, and how will the Texas Women's University Center for Women in Business help create and propel that profile forward? Who is she, and how can you help her?
Well, I think that this person is, in order to be a very good leader, I think a person has to be self-actualized. Meaning,
Love that.
you have already, your goals.
Yeah.
Reached your goals. You're at a point now where you have the experience and the leadership skill to lead other people without having to think about how do I get there? How do I do it? Because you're there, you're self-actualized.
And it starts here and here, right?
Yeah.
First.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, I think you have to be responsible for your actions, and I think that's what a good leader is.
Love that. And I'm going to add to what you've already said, not only self-actualized, but you want to be informed, right? And you want to be educated. You want to minimize your risk. And I believe the 21st century leader is a fearless woman, right? She's fearless, and she has the capacity to bring other women, other capable, informed, sharp women with her. Not just anything for the sake of bringing along, but we're talking about women with capacity and the ability to create other opportunities for women. That's what we're looking for in the 21st century, right?
I love it. Yes.
So in closing, I figured this was going to go faster than I wanted it to. First of all, I knew this was going to go faster than I wanted it to. But tell us about the event that's coming up in June. This is huge. Texas Women's University is partnering with Disney Institute to talk about women and leadership. Give us the date, give us the time, and what can we expect?
The date is June 7th. It's at the Woodlands Marriott. The time will be, check-in is at 7:30, breakfast. It ends right around 4 o'clock. You'll have an opportunity not only to have the skills and philosophies, tips, tricks from Disney Institute facilitators. You also get to network with other women. And I think you'll have just a wonderful day of Disney.
There you go. And I'm planning to be there. We'll talk about that, but I'm really planning to be there. I want to encourage you, ladies and gentlemen, prepare to be at the Woodlands Waterway Marriott on June 7th with Texas Women's University Center for Women in Business and the Disney Institute. We'll be talking about women's leadership. It will be a full day. I'm going to call it a summit and a boot camp of sorts. We'll be talking about important issues, but I believe this will be a practical tool for learning. You're going to take away some opportunities and some information that you can employ immediately to begin growing your profile as a woman and as a business leader in this economy. Am I right?
You are right. You are right. And you can register online as well. So it's pretty easy to get there.
And if you want the information, we'll also post it on all of our social media platforms, and we'll share the website to connect you with Shannon. We are at the end of the show, and I hated, like I said, I knew this was going to go faster than I wanted it to, but I can already tell I'm still going to have you back because I think we have a lot to talk about after the summit with Disney. I know there'll be a lot of topics that we can cover. I certainly want to invite you back to the show, and we have that discussion. So thank you all for joining us today. It has been a wonderful segment. By the way, I wanted to say hi to my new listeners in South Carolina and in the Bronx, New York. Welcome to Master Your Morning with Ms. Mogul. I'm so excited to be reaching all of you there. We are expanding our platforms, and we're so glad to reach you now on the East Coast. Keep tuning in. We have wonderful segments that are applicable to you regardless of where you are in the country. This is content that you can use and that will help you maximize and master your morning. This show has been brought to you by Mogul Life Real Estate and Lifestyle. If you need some assistance with buying or selling your property, we would love for you to call us at 281-676-9857. Particularly women, if you are interested in learning real estate investment as a viable way for you to help create your personal economy. That's what we've been talking about all day today. I'd love to show you how you can develop this skill to develop your personal economy. Secondly, if you're a business owner and you would like to advertise with Master Your Morning with Ms. Mogul, we have those opportunities available. Please give us a call at 281-676-9857 as well. Or you can send us an email at masteryourmorningwithmsmogul, and we'd be happy to get those competitive introductory rates to you. I can guarantee you these rates are not going to stay where they are really for much longer, but I really want to make this accessible to small businesses and to women-owned businesses who want to expand their profile and their reach. Give us a call again, 281-676-9857. I am fresh out of time. If you didn't know it, now you know. You have just mastered your morning with Ms. Mogul. Again, thank you, Shannon Mantaro, the director of Texas Women University's Center for Business and Women. Woo! That was a lot to get out. For being here with me this morning. If you'll hang around for about 5 more minutes, we'll see what the comments and what the questions are. And we'd love for you to kind of engage with the audience. But hey, we're going to be back next week with another wonderful business owner. Stay tuned to the after segment. We'll answer questions. We'll hang out with Shannon for a couple of minutes, get some more information about the Disney Leadership Institute that will be coming up on June 7th. It has been my pleasure to be with you today. Thank you so much for tuning in. And again, hi to our new friends on the East Coast. Thank you for mastering your morning. I'll see you on next Tuesday. Bye-bye for now.